Welcome to the Haas Media Podcast. This is episode, I believe it's 6, right? 6?
Yeah.
Episode 6. We're here with Fred Tessier.
What's up, fellas? How you doing?
Good, man. How you doing?
Doing good, man. Thank you guys for having me. I'm looking forward to our conversations.
Yeah, me too, man.
Really excited to see what you guys are doing. So I'm thankful to be
Appreciate
here.
it.
Thank you, man. And it's been
Likewise.
It's been cool because we have a mutual connection. Chris Ward Jr.
Christopher Ward, the man, the legend himself.
Shout out.
That's right. That's my brother right there. I love him so much.
How'd you guys meet?
Chris and I actually met through our church. We went to church together. We went to a church in Somerset, New Jersey called Zarephath. Okay. And at Zarephath, we worshiped together, we prayed together, and we were also part of the men's ministry there. So during that time, we got to know each other. We had our families connect with each other, and we just shared great interests together, man. And he's been a part of my life since, his family and I, and our family as well. And we just loved him, man. He was actually at my house, a month ago. We had a big birthday party for my wife, and his wife came as well, and it was really good. Yeah, that's my guy right there.
Yeah, he's a cool dude, man.
Yeah. Super jazzy, super cool, very creative, very talented, smart. He knows his stuff, man.
Yeah, very good speaker as well.
That's right, exactly. Yeah. Chris, what's up, man?
So you're in the real estate space. I think this just to kind of map out the podcast a little bit, is the big thing that we want to do with this podcast is there's a lot of ways to start a business, make money, and if you want to get into something that you love doing, that's kind of what we really want to showcase. So you're in the real estate industry. And
you've been in for many years.
Yeah, so I've been in real estate since 2012. I bought my first property in Somerset in 2012. Been investing since, and got licensed shortly after that, and really took the ground running with real estate, man. It's actually something that I didn't plan to be in. Right. Wow. Yeah. So I don't know if you have a format here. If you want to.
No.
Okay.
What made you get in?
Yeah, so prior to real estate, I ran a marketing agency called Keen Management Group. Oh, wow. We were a management company that focused on marketing, management, creative services. We worked with many Fortune 500 companies, from Google to MetLife, Mercedes-Benz, Audi, BMW. Yeah. And we did a lot of go-to-market strategy. We worked with a lot of different programs and campaigns. And and we've done that successfully, done that for over 15, 20 years, right? Literally right after college, I started the company, right? And we've had some great traction, great success, but I did see that there was a threat coming into the industry, specifically with AI, with technology. We saw it moving super, super fast. And it was to the point where I started seeing the writing on the wall, like, oh my God, there's not going to be a need for a marketing agency anymore, because consumers as well as businesses, they have the ability to create content themselves. They have the ability to create unique programs and campaigns for themselves without having to hire a boutique agency like ours, right? And when you see communities like Fiverr, you see Canva, you see AI, you see all these super cool new tech companies coming up, there was no need for it. So I said to myself, the writing's on the wall. I need to start thinking of the next thing, right? And I was already investing in real estate at that time. But I said to myself, what's the next thing? Because every entrepreneur, every successful entrepreneur has to know when to pivot and how to pivot, successfully. And for me, when I started seeing the writing on the wall, I said, all right, you know what? Let me think about this real estate thing a little bit more, because I was at a point where, I was starting to think about the long term, not just for what's happening right now, but as I'm getting older, where do I see myself retiring? What's the overall goal and vision for everything that I've learned since college? I actually I got my master's degree, I got my bachelor's degree. So what could I put to use in those areas? So with real estate, it's funny. My mom was a realtor, right, growing up as a kid, and I used to always tell my mom, I will never do what you do, because I would always see how clients would take advantage of her time. I would always see how much work and effort she would put into working with people of the general public, and people of the general public come in different, sizes, spectrums. Absolutely. They're just different, right? Yeah. And I just didn't have the patience to deal with that, right?
It's exhausting.
It's exhausting,
Yeah.
man. And I saw how much effort she put into her business to grow it. And when I was looking for the change, she said to me, she said, now that you're thinking about going into a different area, specifically real estate, why don't you think about getting, your license to become a realtor? And I said to myself, it's a thought. And the reason why it came as a thought was because of the fact that I was already investing in real estate, right? So I looked at it more as, if I got my license, I could probably save money on spending to pay for an agent, right? The commissions, that is,
Right.
On the buyer side or the seller side. So I said to myself, if I got my license, I would be able to represent myself in a real estate transaction, save $20,000, $30,000, whatever it may be. And I looked at it as that, right? And so I got my license and, started hitting the ground running. And one of the things that I realized when I got the license is that one of the things about me is that I always, broadcast everything that I'm doing to my social channels, my family, my sphere of influence. Everybody knows what I got going on. So when I got into real estate and I got my license, and again, it was strictly for the investor side, people started coming up to me and they're like, yo, dude, see that you're in real estate. Can you help me buy a house? Can you help me sell a house? And it just started happening more and more, just, organically through social media.
And 2012 was probably the best time to get in.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And then fast forward, people would always just continue to say, hey, listen, I love what you're doing with the properties. Help me buy some property, teach me the game, all that kind of stuff. And then lo and behold, I was, putting a lot of traction on social media. Then I got called by the National Association of Realtors. They said that, they were looking for the top realtors in New Jersey, and they recommended me as one of the top buyer agents because I started getting a lot of traction. And they put together a TV show called First Time Buyer on Hulu.
Right.
And I got a chance to do the TV show, and it just went viral. People just started calling me like, this is the guy, to help, you buy a home.
Wow.
And it started spiraling from there. And then what I realized is that I started loving it. And it wasn't necessarily for being viral or anything like that. I just started seeing the impact that it was doing to buyers at the closing table. Like there was not a buyer that I work with that didn't cry at the closing table. It was a very monumental event for many people because this is the first time they're purchasing a home, right? Many people that I was serving, came from communities that, they're not used to purchasing property, right? They didn't have an inheritance. They had to grind for everything that they had. So to be able to buy their first transaction was a big purchase, like a real estate purchase. It was just big for them.
Yeah.
So it started doing something to me. I started realizing, wow, like I'm helping people in the community achieve a goal that they've always had, that their parents or their grandparents always had.
Right.
And I started saying to myself, like, you know what? Maybe this is bigger than just the investment side. Maybe this is, God-given purpose for me. I'm a born-again Christian. I live my life to serve Jesus day in and day out, and I'm always thinking about purpose. And for me, when I would always see the impact that it would have on people, it just drew me more and more to people, and I wanted to serve more, and it became more than just a commission, more than just for the investment side.
That's awesome, man. I have two questions.
Yeah.
So I'll give the first question, and then I'll give you the second question after you answer. When you first got into the real estate industry, was there something specific that you kind of focused on, niched down on? Because I think for us, when we started, we niched down on personal branding.
Mm-hmm.
And recently, like I was telling you before, that we kind of went into a different model recently. And we follow Alex Ramosi. I don't know if you follow Alex Ramosi. And we're in his group, and one of the big things they said is, like, as an entrepreneur, if you want to grow something, niche down on something and focus on that one pain point or one problem and solve it as best as possible. So we went super broad and came back. That was a big mistake, going super broad.
But you learned.
But we learned, yeah. But what was what was
niche.
that for you? Did you niche down on certain type of property, certain type of area?
Yeah. So the market for me was first-time home buyers, right? Okay. So again, coming from a community that didn't really see the opportunity to buy a property, it was like, okay, everyone was just coming to me like, yo, dude, help me buy my first property.
So was it like a purchase for themselves or
Yeah.
investment property?
No, purchase for themselves.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. So many of them were renting. And as you know, rent is going as high as possible.
crazy.
Everything's going up, right?
Yeah.
But with renting, I started putting together content that showed the difference between renting and owning. And when you see the value of the both, you start to say to yourself, well, why am I renting? I could easily be paying the same amount that I'm paying for rent, but owning and getting tax benefits and getting equity and getting cash flow and all these great, things. So I doubled down on first-time home buyers, and that was like the niche for me that got me on the TV show. That was the niche for me that got me recognized by the National Association of Realtors. That was what people knew me for, and most of the times in the real estate business, a lot of people that have been in the business for 20, 30 years, they kind of frown upon buyer agents, right? They're like, well, we're not buyer agents, we're listing agents, and we don't drive around buyers and doing all the legwork. We let the buyer agents do that. We're listing agents, and we run the show. I set the whole narrative different for that, right? Because I was closing much more than listing agents, and I was doing it significantly and also at a quick pace, right? And it was to the point where, like, I didn't even see it coming. When I first started the business, I actually put together a business plan before I launched it, right? And one of the things that I did was I said, all right, what's going to be the operations? What's going to be the sales side? What is the marketing side going to look like? And what is the content side going to look like? All of this stuff was being developed before I fully launched, right? And my wife,
you had the background of marketing,
exactly.
So you kind of knew.
You
knew what it took to get kind of the word out there.
Exactly. That was one of the strengths for me, is to be able to have the marketing background to say, all right, here's where you start, here's where you focus, here's where you're not focused right now, just the basics, right? And I remember when I told my wife that I'm going to go into real estate as a realtor, I told her, I was like, listen, if I could sell 2-3 homes a year, I'll be fine, right? Because I got the license.
Absolutely.
I'm not really doing it for being the realtor side,
right.
And she was like, nah, dude, you're going to be selling a lot more than that. And I was like, really? You think so? And then lo and behold, man, I started selling 4 or 5 houses a month easily.
Wow.
Right? And it's just
what year was
clicking,
this?
clicking. This was 2019 at the time.
Okay.
And it just started clicking and clicking and clicking. And people were just reaching out, bro. It's just been a
That's
tsunami.
amazing, man.
Yeah,
That's amazing.
It's been a tsunami.
What do you think? What do you think was the advantages that you had over somebody that would just take anything and everything, any type of property, any type of client?
Mm-hmm.
Like, how did you kind of separate yourself from the rest with that?
Yeah, that's a great question too, man. Because I actually coach and mentor a lot of agents, and one of the things that I tell them is this: you have to be able to distinguish yourself from other agents. People have to see something different about you, because there's 40, 50, 60,000 agents out here, right?
Yeah.
What's going to be the differentiator between you and these other agents? So for me, I did a few things. I think number one, I wanted to make real estate fun, right? Because real estate can be boring. It's a transactional purchase where there's a lot of documentation that you have to sign. It's just really boring.
Right.
It's a fun experience because you get to purchase a home, but the process itself is just boring.
When
so
you're doing 5-6 a month,
Cash flow.
So what I said to myself was, all right, how can I make this as fun as possible, as educational as possible? And what I started doing was making the closing experience something very monumental, right? We would come in with champagne, we would pop confetti,
nice.
We would bring gifts, we would record it.
That's the marketing mind right there.
Yeah, that was the marketing background, right? And I also started doing things like getting the big heads cut out, right? So that people can see the face and remember the face. Like, I literally have people that stop me at the mall, like, oh, that's the real estate guy with the big head, because we got the big heads.
Yeah.
So it's really
very smart.
Yeah, it's like, what can I do to make people remember me? Because there's too many agents out there. Mm-hmm. So I started seeing other agents picking up some of my trends that I was, working on, and I was flattered, But for me, it was really the closing experience, but it was also just the process of real estate as a whole, because many buyers or sellers, they come into the realm of being served as a consumer, but the process is not really laid out for them the right way.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of agents out here that give other agents bad names. Mm-hmm. So what I wanted to do was I took the corporate side that I've learned in marketing and brought it to real estate. So real estate no longer became a side hustle. It came like a real career-driven, professional, attribute in my life. So right. When I would meet with clients, I would always bring in that corporate hat where I'm doing kickoff calls, getting them, educated on what the process looks like, right. Really teaching them, what's important, what's not important, who certain people are, who are the key players.
Yeah. And I'm sure that whole process took you many years to
master. Oh yeah, absolutely.
And was there, any moments within that you felt, you wanted to kind of give up, or?
No. For me, I was locked in, because for me, I knew in real estate, this had to work, because I knew I was leaving the marketing space in terms of the boutique marketing agency. I had to focus on the next thing, because of course, number one, I have a family, right? And I got to be able to provide for my family.
No option B.
There's no option B, bro. I had to lock in. And most realtors come into the game, they're doing this part-time. Yeah. I went super full-time right away. Like, I didn't wait. I didn't think about it. It was just, one of the key factors for me prior to even starting this whole thing is, as I mentioned, I have my relationship with God is like super important to me. So absolutely. Even before I started, Tesuti Property Group, I consulted with God. I fasted, I prayed, and I asked him, is this where he wants me to be? And I was just getting the right signs, and that's why it took a while to launch the business, because I didn't want to launch it with the intention of just saying, well, God told me to launch this. No, you told yourself to launch this. Mm-hmm. So I wanted to have some time to just really reflect on where, God was taking me through prayer and worship and things like that, so that I could know this was where I wanted to be. So I was locked in. Once I got the confirmation from God that, hey, this is where I need you to be, I didn't even think twice, bro. I was just all in 100% full time. Awesome, and
that's amazing.
Yeah. We were talking earlier backstage that, most agents come into the business and they have the wrong expectations. For me, I set my expectations right away. And research shows 89% of agents quit in their first 6 months.
It's wild.
It's a wild number, bro. 89% of real estate agents quit.
What makes them quit, you think?
I'll tell you what makes them quit. One is they don't have the right training, right? They set the wrong expectations. People come into this business looking to, be millionaires overnight, right? And when life starts lifing and you start seeing how hard it is to sell a property, it's not an easy thing to do. And then there are fees that come along with being a realtor that many people don't know, right? There's MLS fees, there's board fees, there's realtor fees, there's broker fees. There's a lot of fees that are involved that we pay every month. So for somebody that's coming into this business that is not closing, but the fees keep coming, at some point you're going to say, well, nah, this ain't for me, man, because I can't keep up with these fees. People see that, realtors make a lot of money from commissions. One transaction could easily give you $30,000, $40,000, $50,000. Yeah. So if you're doing 3-4 a month, that could be a lot of income, right? So if you're not locked in and in the right way, man, your expectations are going to be wrong, So for us, it was like, for me, I should say, it was like, let me lock in, let me make sure that I have the right training, the right development. I actually started doing, I had a mentor before I even hit the field. Right.
Yeah, it's so important.
Yeah. Most agents, they'll get their license and they want to just run to the field, start selling. Right. And it's like, wait, well, hold up. Let's pump the brakes before we get into the field, before you fall on your face, before you get sued. Let's learn
from the person who's actually done it
before. Because there's a difference between passing the real estate exam and really being in the real world of real estate. Absolutely. It's two separate different things. The exam is, just to get you the license, but the real world happens once you get the license. So
I heard something yesterday that was who's our real estate guy was talking about this on his live call.
Yeah,
it's like he's like, same thing about the real estate, getting your real estate agent license and saying, you can read all the books you want about the UFC, but the minute you get in the ring and
once you get punched in the face, right?
It's a whole different
It's so true. It's the same thing, man. And I see it, man. And I like I said, I coach and mentor many agents, and I could always tell immediately who's gonna last, right?
Yeah.
Some of them come in and we have our calls, and their expectations are just different, bro. You know, I didn't come into this business with those kind of expectations. Some of them are really looking to be millionaires overnight, bro. Like, if I don't hit $1 million this year, I'm quitting real estate.
Do you think that comes with?
Yeah, that's insane.
It's crazy.
Because I see a lot of this happen, even like with our mom's properties and stuff, like real estate agents coming in and over promising how much they can sell the home for.
Yeah. The reason why they do that is because they want to earn your business, right? They want to tell you something that you want to hear, right? Not realizing that home sales are based on the comps in the market, right? Like the homes that recently sold in the area are going to help determine the value of this particular home, right? So you have to price it strategically according to market data, market analysis.
So you're saying like around the properties around,
correct,
and what the I guess who would pay for it essentially.
The market is willing to pay.
Market is willing to pay.
Exactly. So the comps are extremely important because let's say there's a colonial home that's in Somerset, Raritan, whatever the case may be. To determine the price of that home for sale, we have to look at a few factors. We got to look at what homes recently sold in the area for that type of home. That type of colonial home, same number of bedrooms, bathrooms. Is there a basement? Is there a garage? Square feet? It has to be apples to apples, right? And it has to be sold within that 1 year period, really 9 months, really, right? And based on that, gives us an understanding, okay, now that we know that, what is the condition of the property? How does it look, right? Because you could have a colonial home that's super renovated and one that's really old.
Right.
There's two different comps, right? It's not apples to apples. So
do you have a process to pricing?
Yeah.
Like homes, like I was listening to this one guy that's this big real estate mogul online, and he basically says like, if you get no bites in the first 2 weeks, it's like the price is too high. If you get like less than X amount of application in 2 weeks, like the price is like you're just right. Or if you get too many, then you're too low. Like, do you have any process like that?
Yeah, I do. So when I list a property for sale, let's say I know the home is worth $525, right? I'm not gonna sell the home for $525, right? I'm gonna sell it for $499, right? And the reason why I'm gonna do that is because I know the demand is gonna be what I'm looking for. I want to make sure that when I price it low, many people are going to flock to the property, and when I do an open house and you guys all see each other in the open house, you're going to probably overbid on the house, superseding the $525 that it's worth, and it's worked all the time. It never stops. We always price a property, the good agents, 10% lower than what it's worth, to build momentum, to build a bidding war, so that we know, people can come in and fight with each other for the property.
How'd you figure that out?
Data, research, education.
Like after one house after another, did you go, holy shit, I think I got something here? Or was it like...
Yeah, I mean, it just comes with experience, right? Gotcha. The more you do it, the more you start to see, because the more open houses you have, the more homes you put on the market, you see what worked, you see what didn't work. And I think for me, it started really clicking when I started seeing, okay, if I price low, they're just going to flock to this open house. So if I have an open house and there's 50, 60 people on the line outside, you guys are not going to pay $499 for that house. You're going to be like, holy cow, there's smart, like 8 to 10 people on this line, 50 people on this line. Yeah. I got to come in at least 550.
Yeah.
It sets the expectation.
You're building demand in real time.
Building demand in real time, man. That's what it is. Yeah. So that's the little secret that we have in our process that I don't mind sharing.
That's really cut this part.
No, keep that in, man. I want to make sure that we give as much intel as possible to a lot of agents that are coming into the business. Like I said, I train and I mentor a lot of agents, so that's one of the things that we tell them.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then do you think like because this is a second part to my question that I asked you originally, being niche down, did that help you out a lot where you had advantages over realtors because you just knew what the first time home buyer is looking for? Because in marketing, you had a marketing business, so you know this, and we're in marketing too. As the closer you get to your ICP and the closer that you know their pain points and what they're struggling with and the information that you got to give them to get them through the process, the easier the sale is going to be, the easier they're going to trust you, and the easier that you're going to know that person over the next marketing company. Or the next, like, what was that like?
I mean, for me, it's the client experience, right? You have to really, like, I don't look at my clients like a transaction. Mm-hmm. I really get to know them. I find out what they're struggling with. I find out their pain points. I find out their goals, right? And when I start to have those conversations, I start to cater specific plans and strategies according to those goals. And then I share that with the world because many of them have the same situation. They have the same pain points. Mm-hmm. So when I start to create content based on those pain points, the phones start to ring a lot more. Like, oh my God, I saw what you did for Johnny and Barbara over here in Raritan. Mm-hmm. We're going through the same thing, man. And I saw your reviews. You got all these reviews, 5 stars. We want to have a call with you. Mm-hmm. It starts to create the demand, right? So things like that for me is really not looking at each client as a transaction, but more as a story and using that story to build momentum publicly.
Yeah. So would you say for a realtor that is in the game, let's say they've been working with a lot of multifamily homes, mm-hmm. and then a big commercial property comes up and it's like, oh, you could be the agent on this transaction. Would you just say stay away from that and like focus in on what you're good at? Or
it depends, right? Like I'm a big fan of educate yourself in all facets of real estate. Mm-hmm. A plumber has multiple tools in his tool belt, right? Contractor, GC, the same way. You don't want to just have a screwdriver. You want to have a drill. You want to have a few different things in your arsenal so that when the time comes, you can speak to that. Because there are going to be people that are going to reach out to you for multifamily, commercial, condo. It doesn't matter. You as a realtor, you have to be exercising your education in all of those facets. Now, don't get me wrong. If you're only selling multifamily homes and then a commercial property comes, it's going to be tough for you to try to convince that person that you should be the realtor helping them when your background is only multifamilies. Mm-hmm. That's why I kind of like to tell agents, work on different things. Don't just stay in one area because then you'll get boxed into that area. Like for a long time, I was boxed into the buyer agent, situation. And then I started, diversifying my portfolio a little bit and really focusing on listings and doing coaching and doing all these other things. And then the narrative started to change. But, I think for me, just being able to have the skill set in different areas was a big part for me. So to answer your question, I would say yes, but proceed with caution only if you have the right education and backing and you have the support systems to help you facilitate that commercial property sale.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And then my actual second question.
Mm-hmm.
This goes back to the first-time home buyers.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Have you read the article lately that like a lot of the younger generation is younger generation millionaires are focusing on renting and not actually owning properties?
I didn't see that article, but curious to see it and read it. What are they saying?
So they're basically saying that it's cheaper to rent being a millionaire than to buy a home and have to deal with like the fix up, the maintenance and all that stuff. Like, what do you say? Like, how do you change that narrative for like the future? And where do you think the future is going? And what are some like?
I beg to differ, man. I always say owning is better than renting. 100%. When you're renting, you get nothing back from renting. There is no tax benefits. There is no cash flow. There is no equity. You're just paying literally for something that you don't own. Mm-hmm. And over time, it's going to continue to grow, right? At least when you buy, yes, you're going to be paying something monthly, but you're going to see the offsets with the equity, the cash flow, the tax benefits, right? So for me, I always say owning is best because you can use the properties that you own to buy more real estate, to put a kid in college. You can pay off debt. I mean, there's so much things you
helps
can
you
buy.
Leverage a lot.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I remember when I bought my first property, I bought it for $315 and then sold it for like almost $700,000 in a few years, right? And that was a big come up, right? Yeah. Because it helped me to be able to put money into other properties. Right. It helped me to buy my first mansion home. Like it helped me do a lot of things. Yeah. So for me, man, I always say, owning is the best.
So do you recommend keeping all the properties as you grow, or like how does that process work? Or is it like, I think I saw a video somewhere. They were saying like, I wish I had kept all the properties that I've ever got, at this point I'd be.
It depends what your goal is, right? Like for me, my goal is I want to make sure that my wife and my son never have to work for anybody ever again, right?
Absolutely.
I want to make sure that when I'm not here, I've left off a great legacy for them. And legacy is not just inheritance, but morals, characteristics, ways of thinking. And I want to make sure that my wife and my son, they're completely taken care of financially. So I'm going to opt in for saving the properties. Now, here's what comes with saving the properties and keeping them. You have to have the right property management company to manage and facilitate those things, right? Because at the end of the day, it's going to be time consuming to deal with tenants, to deal with maintenance, to deal with, contractors and all of the people that need to be involved with a property.
Right.
So it depends on everybody's goal. For me, I would keep them, but I would have the right resources like a project management company to manage them so that when I'm not here, my wife and my son don't need to worry about calling tenants. They're just going to pick off what I left off.
Gotcha.
So
yeah, that's the financial freedom part.
That's the financial freedom part for me, man. I like Dame Dash says, I hustle for my last name, not for my first name.
Hell yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
House Media. And Tessier Properties, right?
Tessier Property Group, man. And for those who don't know, I am the founder, managing director, and lead and 2-time Icon award-winning realtor at Tesuti Property Group. We are a real estate company based in New Jersey and Pennsylvania. We focus on home sales for residential, and we work with buyers. We work with sellers. We also work with landlords and tenants. Do a lot of coaching and mentorship with a lot of agents. So super excited to be here, man. This is a great conversation so far. So excited for that.
Yeah, thank you for being here, man.
Yeah, thank you. And I have actually, so a question. It's so marketing. You saw a lot of AI and everything kind of starting to infiltrate the industry.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you see with AI or just big, massive companies trying to come in, like change up the real estate?
Yeah, or any big changes?
Yeah, I mean, one of the big changes that we see happening, and not just in real estate overall, but just overall across the board, many companies are laying off full-time employees and they're going 100% AI. Every company is doing it, right? And they're realizing that we can spend more time on research, data. We can get the results quicker. We can have AI working 24 hours a day for us, as opposed to getting an employee that can only do it from 9 to 5.
Right.
We have to pay them health care. We have to pay them a salary. We have to worry about insurance with them and things like that, bonding, social, and all that kind of stuff in the corporate culture environment. You can do it significantly cheaper with just AI.
Yeah.
So I see that happening a lot. A lot of jobs are being lost.
Right.
And if you are not preparing yourself for the AI takeover, because it's already here, right? It's already here. But the iterations are growing significantly faster and faster and faster. Like
I think what it is it's just contextualizing it as much as possible. So if it's whoever has most of the information, most of the data, to be able to feed it in.
And I join them, right? Like you're not going to beat AI. It's not happening. Stop wasting your time. You got to find a way to make AI work for you. And if you're not using AI in any form of your life or business, you're behind, right? And it's also irresponsible of you as an entrepreneur to not do that. Right. You have to be able to use AI in a significant way that's going to help change your life, your business lives, and the people around you.
I wouldn't say like using it as a crutch, but
no, not at all. Not at all. I use it in real estate all the time. Right. We use it for data. We use it for content development.
Absolutely.
Scripting, coaching. There's a lot of different things.
I think when you use it in a way to get your ideas out, maybe not using it for that part, but like getting your ideas out on paper, getting your ideas out or talking things out like they are now, and then using it to kind of speed the process up or contextualize it or make it understand your industry more, because the more data it has, the better it can give you answers.
100%. 100%. I mean, imagine if we had AI back in the day, dude. I'd run for president, dude. I'd be on some other stuff.
I know, right?
We've been using AI since like the start of our business. I think like single-handedly, we started 4 years ago now, and ChatGPT came out like 3.5 years ago.
Yeah.
We started using it since ChatGPT dropped. And I would say that we wouldn't be as far if we didn't have.
Oh, there's no.
Dude, it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. And the world has changed. Like, so let me give you an example. My wife, shout out to my wife, Dorisa. My wife is a professional makeup artist for film and television, and she does a lot of movies, TV shows, and things like that. I don't know if you remember this, but production and actors were on strike, 2 years ago, I believe it was.
Yep.
And they weren't able to do any type of work, right? There was a shutdown, right? And one of the reasons for the shutdown was because the movie industry, specifically studios, were saying, hey, listen, we are going to be moving forward in an AI-driven industry, and we're going to be using AI for a lot of the production, right? Especially writers, right? I mean, think about it. Why pay a writer to write 7 seasons of a TV show when you could use AI to do 15 seasons in 10 minutes?
Yeah.
Right? You start off with the story that you're thinking about, and it creates it for you in a wonderful way that you're like, holy cow, 15 seasons easily.
See,
right?
But you see what Elon was saying? What? I was watching a video on him a couple of days ago. He was saying he's predicting within like the next 10 to 20 years in the future that people aren't going to have to work anymore. Like,
I agree with him.
It's going to be like a sport, essentially. Working is going to be like a sport.
I agree, because
like how we do grocery shopping and people used to farm.
Yeah.
And now you have the option to farm if you want to grow your own vegetables or whatever.
We're losing human connection, man.
Yeah.
The humanity is drifting away, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's funny because even text messaging, right? You could literally use AI to do text message. It's just little things, right? It's like my mom was using AI the other day. I'm like, holy cow, this is crazy. Yeah. It's just you're losing a lot of human to human connection. I don't like that part of it, but I'm with Elon. I think it's going to be super different.
It's going to be like you're going to have the option to work essentially, and like everything's going to kind of be very easily accessible.
It is how you order food, how you mow your lawn. Everything is going to be automated and done, bro. That's a scary place to be, man.
That's like the WALL-E movie, from Disney.
I just think that, like, going to your writer perspective, I just think that there is going to be, you can't really rely on technology. Personally, I don't care how, like, even if it's 80 years down the line, every person that's born in this world and comes to this world, they have some type of creativity or something that makes them, right? God-given talent. God gives you a certain talent. So, like, that AI might be able to write 15 seasons, but there might be something that writer has in his head that AI can't recreate, because AI is all input. It's not it is output, but it's not. It's input first, and it learns from that. Well,
let me challenge you on that statement that you just made, because here's the thing. We're not saying replacing humans with AI. We're saying humans working with AI. So, for example, the what you just mentioned about God-given creative talent to be able to use. Yes, you can still use that with AI.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
True.
Right?
That I agree with.
So you're not removing the creative, component that you have. Right. You're just putting it in a different place to shape
vehicle,
it.
Essentially.
Yeah, you're putting it in a vehicle to drive it into different directions.
But that's the challenge back to any industry is I see so many AI prompt engineers, open job boards that they're paying like $200,000 a year, $300,000 a year. You know what I mean? So it's just like it's less expensive because of the amount of workforce you have, but I think it's going to get more expensive as we kind of.
I agree with that.
We kind of go down the line, because now it's like, okay, well, instead of paying, right now, instead of paying 15 people because they're not really doing anything, the minute that people get acclimated to actually using becoming prompt
100%.
I'm going to pay. I mean, look at Meta. Look at Meta.
Yeah,
they're paying
I was just about to say that.
$100 million a year.
Yeah, I was just about to say that.
Then everything's to be on like 10x speed.
Oh yeah. Because at the end of the day, they're gonna have to facilitate those costs somewhere, right?
So
100%. everyone else is gonna be the one paying for it. And you're right. And I think in the years to come, the iterations are gonna get higher and higher, better and better. And it's gonna change the world, man.
Who knows, man?
Like, I would say even like somebody that's in, like, let's just say property risk assessment. Right? You pay somebody that's not only trained in property risk assessment, but also knows how to prompt engineer. And then now they're looking for properties. You could take over the country.
The whole thing.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
The whole country, dude. And I mean, I remember 3 years ago, I was bought a house, and we wanted a pool, but we didn't get a pool. But I decided to put a pool in the backyard. We had to go through so much engineering and all this kind of stuff. And I'm looking at engineers now using AI for properties, and it's like, I just spent so much money on engineers where we could have used AI in different ways
to speed up
that whole process, man. This is just changing so quickly, man, and you got to join it.
And here's another challenge for you, because I know we were talking backstage before, and you were like, "Look, like we don't really care about the followers, and we just care about the engagement and putting out good content." I think when we get to a point, because you said, the human touch and the relationship is kind of like drifting apart. I mean, I remember 10, 15 years ago, you'd walk on the street and people would say hi to you. Now it's like, God forbid you say hi to somebody. They're like,
what do you want?
But like, there's so many people following people on social media. And I know the following game is kind of changing. It's more about engagement and how much a video goes up and gets likes and saves and all that stuff. Yeah. But there is something to it where it just goes back to marketing. If Fred Tessier creates a personal brand around himself, and he has millions of followers and he's getting millions of views and on a monthly basis, right? At a point where we have AI that just consuming the market, people are going to flock to you. And even though that there might be this big conglomerate company that has billions of dollars of real estate, trillions of dollars of real estate, they're going to want to come do business with you because there's that personal touch is online now.
100%.
You know what I mean? And I think a lot of people say like personal branding is dead or social media is dead, and whatever the case may be, whatever they say, I think it's just starting.
I agree. I don't think it's dead.
Yeah.
I think when you look at the amount of people that log on every day to this app and they're engaged with different personalities, different lifestyles, different cultures, this is where, so I get most of my leads. I'm going to tell you where my leads come from. They come from my sphere of influence. They come from repeated customers. They come from partnerships with like lawyers, mortgage brokers, and things like that. But a big portion of it also comes from social media, right? And I always get surprised at how influential social media is, because it's like, wow, people, you can literally, like when I close a property and I post that the property just sold, my DMs are flooded, bro.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm not going crazy with millions of followers. I don't have that much followers like that, right? But they're still clicking, and I'm having a conversation with each and everyone that's reaching out. Repeated people that are coming out and saying, hey, listen, I'm going to reach out to you in the next few months. I see what you're doing. I love what you're doing. I want to do this for me and my family, my mom, my grandma, whatever the case may be. So the power of social media is super huge. It goes back to what we said earlier with, the big heads and all that stuff that I have going on marketing wise, trying to keep people remembering the name, remembering the face. Social media is a big lead generator for us. Many agents, and I would say 75% of agents that are in this business, they spend thousands of dollars on leads through Zillow, Redfin, and all these places. And those places, they're charging by like zip code, right?
Gotcha.
And right now, Zillow's going through a lawsuit with that right now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, big lawsuit, right? And one of the things that I realized is I never paid for leads. I never said, all right, I'm going to use this platform, spend this amount of money, and expect leads to come from me. I just thought that was like,
it's too cold.
It's too cold, and you're not really in sales like that, right? Like I like to touch the people, bro.
Right,
I like to be involved with what they got going on. I like to have conversations. I'm not just waiting for leads to come to me. Most agents wait for leads to just come to them. You're not in sales if you're doing that. You're not. Like I have the, you eat what you kill mentality, right? So I got to be out there shaking hands with everybody.
Yeah. Something does feel like kind of off about, just buying a list.
That's not a flex. Like I see agents, I sold, I'm the platinum realtor and I sold X amount of, homes. And I'm like, dude, you pay for a list every freaking month. There are agents that are paying $20,000, $30,000 a month just for this list. And the list sometimes give you like 3 leads that are good.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, granted, you can make the money back with 1 closing,
Right.
but at the end of the day, it's like, that's not a flex. That's not a flex. If you're paying for these lists that give you leads.
Yeah.
I think the power is in like the networking. The relationship building.
Look how I met you guys through Chris, right?
Yeah.
And I didn't have to pay for a list to meet you guys. It's just organically.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like I don't want to lose that human to human connection with people, right?
Yeah.
And yes, I will use AI and all these great things, but we still need this, man.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna just pay for a list.
I think that's the one thing that AI can't take is sales, especially because
It depends.
Hold on. Let me finish this. So I think
we were ready, right?
Here's what I'm gonna say. I think that you need a human connection when it comes to sales. Right? When it comes to buying and selling something, right? It might depend on the industry because I can see how you can just buy a car online or whatever.
Yeah.
But a home is a big
commitment.
And anything in sales. But I think what happens is, what it's going to happen is, AI is going to come to a point where they're going to start trying to make that human connection, right? But what happens when AI says, okay, we have 10 buyers, and it calculates all the risk, and it's like, well, we know the customer wants to sell their home at 525, but calculating this risk, it's a 90% chance no one's going to buy if we sell it for 525. Let's sell it for 499, and then now the homeowner's like, well, what the hell just happened, right? So things like that where it's
I agree with that. Yeah.
Trying to assess different things, and I think there's going to be a lot of regulations that come in.
Yeah.
Because let's just say you have certain commission clauses, or if we sell it at this point, if we sell it at that point, and the homeowner's like, well, I never knew that, or I never did that, right? And they sign some
certain things have to have that human to human.
And I think that regulation is going to come in and be like, well, okay, well, AI can't. We're not going to let AI do that because we'll get sued next time we do that. Or whatever. And there needs to be that human. And I think sales is the only thing that can that you
outlast
need a human
that.
touch.
Yeah, to a degree, I agree with you.
Challenge me, bro.
Yeah. You know what's funny, man? It's funny. I remember like every car I ever bought, I went to the dealer, filled out the paperwork, and did the stuff that you usually do to get a car. And now, for the last 10 years, every car that I ever bought was delivered to my home.
Wow.
Like in front of my home, right?
Meaning no person?
No, it was a person, of course. It was a salesperson there. But what I'm basically saying is people are now looking for convenience.
Oh, yeah.
Convenience is a big factor.
So true.
And AI brings a lot of convenience. So I don't know how they're going to manipulate the human approach for that. But if they do, man, that's going to be very tricky. But I don't think it would happen.
People kind of fall into the convenience as much as possible.
Yeah.
Just naturally.
It's naturally. And I think, like for me, but like I'm a big fan of storytelling. So I like when people have a story, they're coming up, it gravitates towards me. And you don't have to sell me on that. The storytelling alone sets it apart from me.
Yeah, and that's where that comes back to the personal branding.
Yeah, exactly.
So like,
I'm a big fan of personal branding.
Yeah, so if you're a good storyteller, I think, and if you're an expert in what you do, you've done it for many years, and you could talk about it, and you want to help people.
Yeah. Agreed. That's also one of the reasons why I like TikTok as well. I need to be on TikTok more, but TikTok allows you to be yourself, be free, show the world your mess ups. And show them the journey,
100%.
And I think that's like super, super cool. And people love that. Like I'm reposting videos of people that I don't even know because the story, know, and I think that's super cool, man.
Absolutely.
Yeah. That's one of our biggest reasons why we started is we work with a lot of coaches, and I think we saw an influx of these gurus and fake coaches on that are just trying to take people's money.
Don't get me started with that. Real estate as well.
Yeah.
So we stay really far away.
Oh, me too, bro.
Yeah. One of the big things that we told each other is just we want to work with people that are actually they have built something outside of social media.
Yeah.
It's not
a course.
It's not a course. Well, it could be a course, but
it's not solely the course.
It's not solely the course, but also it's like you have the real world experience. Because there's a lot of people out there that they get the views, they got the traction, but they haven't done the things that they said that they did.
Right. Like, how could you actually help someone if you haven't gone?
If you've
through
never,
it?
yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
You want to be in real estate, but you never sold a house.
Yeah, it's like
you're speaking on a podcast, but you never sold a house.
right.
You want to,
And there are people out there.
And there are people, and they convince these people
Yeah.
That's the sad thing, because people believe it,
Yeah.
and they'll put their entire life savings into someone's hand just because of that. And that is the scary thing,
That is
man.
very scary.
I see it all the time in real estate, all the time. And I always tell people, stay away from people like that, man. Those courses, for $4.99 a month, you get this. And dude, a lot of that stuff is on YouTube. You don't spend money on these people trying to lie to you, man.
But I think when there's like the right person out there that wants to help somebody and has the knowledge and the expertise, and you can kind of build them up, like their presence up, so they're like people are aware of them, right? And you can actually help people. You know what I mean? So kind of allow them to connect the dots there. Be like, look, this person did it.
I would agree.
But you know, obviously their time is valuable.
Yeah,
you know?
I respect that. Like even right now, AI, right? There's a few people out there that I love what they're doing in AI, and I'm like, yo, you know what? I don't mind paying for this. And I've paid for certain things to learn certain things. So I get that.
To cut the time.
To learn the resources and all that kind of stuff. But I don't speak to those people. I'm really speaking to the other folks that are just manipulating people to believe in something that's not true.
You paid them $15,000 and then they're just like disappear on you.
Like, it's crazy, dude. Like, it happens all the time, bro. Both of our industries. It's a scary thing that people really believe in them.
A lot of the guys
you gotta do your background.
A lot of the guys that we work with, like all the guys that we work with, there's people in their DMs like thanking them, changing their life. Like, that's what we're about. Like, even with the first guy that we started with, like, he's in the health and fitness industry, and he's big into fasting, and it's all about fasting. But for him, like, we didn't start selling a program or putting a community together until, like, we had like hundreds of DMs, bro. Like,
really, people
saying like they're on the verge of like suicidal thoughts and all this stuff, and they lost 200 pounds, 300 pounds just because of what he was teaching. And then people were like, I want to pay you to help me. You know what I mean?
Wow.
So that's what we're like really big on is working with those kind of people. It's like, I
respect that.
If we're going to take the money, it's not about like, it's not about help. It's not about like taking the money and making the money. It's about actually having a mission. So for our fasting guy, his name is Kyle Newell. It's about like changing the world through fasting. Is our mission, right? So we want to work with those type of entrepreneurs that actually can give back, actually have something behind them, and just goes back to having something physical that they've built. Right? Because if you haven't actually like built something, like, you might have made millions of dollars online. That's cool, whatever. But like,
there's no meaning to it.
Oh yeah, like try building a real company. Try having real employees. Try having
payroll.
Right? Like, if you haven't actually built a structure there, you're just making money online. You're taking people's money. Granted, there are some people out there that might have built things online and have different things and teachings to be able to teach people how to do certain things, like using AI, like you said, which is a fairly newer industry. But a lot of the times, like, I don't know, there's a lot of scammers out there.
There are, man. I don't know how some of these people sleep at night. My morals set up different, man. Like, I just can't do people like that. Even on the realtor side, because even on the realtor side, we see agents that are doing a lot of things in this industry that's just not cool, man. They do it just for the money. And as I mentioned, 89% quit their first 6 months. So they're going to do whatever they can to get a transaction to close. And that means not being honest, hiding things from buyers and sellers, not being trustworthy, fraud. There's a lot of things that people do just to get a check.
Sounds like a very competitive business market.
But if you got to do all that, bro, to do people wrong like that, just get out the industry, man. This is not for you, man. Don't hurt people like that.
Absolutely.
And that's what gives a lot of agents a bad name. So because here's the funny thing: when I meet new clients, their antennas are always up because they're just so used to realtors scamming people. So it's not until I have that first kickoff call with them where I'm, formally introducing myself and going through the process that they're like, you know what, this guy's a little different. I shouldn't have had my guard up with this guy. But it's just the nature of my industry. Realtors, create a bad narrative for other realtors, man, and they've really shaded a lot of people, dude.
Oh yeah. And that's something that we're big on too, is just like creating a business and a process where it's so like we're working on the best service possible.
Yeah.
It's not about making the money. The money is awesome.
Yeah.
Whatever, but like, how can we make our service so good that when a customer comes through the door, it's like the best customer journey possible.
Right.
They're not complaining about anything.
Right.
They're, the first text message we get is like, holy shit. Like,
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you want that. And if you're not working on that, you're just looking at the money. Like, it's never gonna. It might happen, but
money comes and goes, man.
Oh, yeah.
There's like for me, like I want to have meaning to what I do in my life. It goes back to what I said about our legacy comments. It's like you got to leave something, right? It's not just about money.
100%.
My richness does not come from money.
Yeah.
I'm rich, and I'm not talking about money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
My richness is life. My richness is my family, my peace. My church community, being able to have freedom. That's richness for me,
Yeah.
That's what I like.
I love that, man.
Yeah.
So do you so you got anything else kind of that you're building in the moment that you want to tell the people, or?
Yeah. So, well, here's the thing. So I'm a big fan of, I don't like to put things out there, until I know that it's, finally done and good to go, because there are a lot of people out there that prey on negative energy on you, right? So, yes, there are some things that we are working on at Tesuti Property Group that's going to shift the industry a little bit and really, bring some great value to our customers. So I'm looking forward to that,
Always staying locked in, right?
Yeah, always staying locked in, brother. You know what I'm saying? You got to, man.
Absolutely.
What's one thing that you would tell somebody that is getting into being a real estate agent, or just currently a real estate agent and struggling? Like, what one piece of advice that you give them? Yeah,
so there's two different folks, right? So for the one that's coming into real estate, I would say number one, set the right expectations so that when you get into this industry, you're going to have to pivot in different ways, right? But when you have the right expectations and you have the right people around you, specifically mentors and coaches, that's going to be important. But also a third piece of that would be learn the business before you hit the field. Don't just go out there because you got your license and you're ready to make money. Learn the business, learn how to write contracts, learn how to negotiate, learn how to do pitching, learn how to do comps, learn how to do things. Because here's the thing, when you meet a client, they're going to ask you questions and they're going to expect you to know because you're the market expert, you're their realtor. So instead of saying, let me get back to you on that, they're going to spot right away whether you've been here or not. And they're not going to put their entire financial journey in your hands if you don't even look confident in what you're saying. Right. So that's what I would say to the new agent coming in. To the agent that's already struggling, that's probably been into the game for a while and just doesn't know, where to go, I would say to that person, it's okay that you're feeling like that, but it's your responsibility to pivot and rebrand or do something totally different, right? You can't keep doing the same thing and expecting different results, right? So, if you're posting once a month, dude, start posting, once a day. You know what I mean? If you're doing the same things, you're not going to get, different results. So try to create new lanes, new opportunities, and step out of your comfort zone, because a lot of the people that are in that space, they're just comfortable with where they are and they're not used to going into different realms, right? Most of the agents that are like that, they don't like social media. They're like, oh, I hate being on camera. I don't like looking at myself in the camera, but I'm like, if you're going to be a realtor, your face is going to have to be everywhere. Right? On the internet, people are gonna need to know who you are.
You guys were the first social media people,
right? Technically, right?
On like benches and
yeah.
You ever watch what's it called? I Love You Man?
No.
They had the one of the realtor agents had like the urinal cakes with his face on it.
Yo, that's funny, bro. Somebody really did that?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And one of the lines in the movie is just like, he's like, when people come up to me and say, I've seen your face before. He's like, yeah, you pissed on it.
Oh my God, that's crazy, man. But yeah, for that person, man, try to mix it up, do different things. Tap into areas that you're not used to see different expectations and growth in those areas. So those are the things that I would recommend for sure.
I think one of the coolest things I've heard yesterday actually with back to the realtor guy that we work with on his live call. It was just so many people were asking for on the call because he does a Q&A at the end.
Yeah.
So many people were asking for like these technical things, and he was just like kept on repeating back what he was saying. And he was just like, you have to get this right first,
mindset
before you try to get into like if you want to invest into property or help buy or sell.
Yeah.
Like you got to be in the right mindset, and it starts with like believing and being confident in yourself.
Yeah.
And instead of trying to say, oh, I'm going to pay for ads or I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. It's like where I would tell people to start is make everyone aware of what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
Right? And I love that.
100%.
You kind of made that
sphere of influence.
Yeah. It's if I tell people that, hey, we help clients build their personal brand and awareness online.
Yeah.
The next time somebody's talking to you, you're going to be like, oh, yo, I know these two brothers.
100%.
You know what I mean? So
yeah. 100%.
Marketing yourself.
That's it, man. 100%. And you hit it on the nail, man. So I agree.
Yeah. But thank you for being here. Thank you for coming on the podcast, man.
Thank you so much, man.
Pleasure.
Yeah, thank you, man. I appreciate you guys.
It was a great, awesome. We learned
We
a lot.
gotta do this more, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
We'll do a part 2.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
So,
appreciate you guys.
Thank you so much.
Where can they find you, actually?
You can find me at Tessier Properties.com, or you can find me on social media at Tessier Property Group. My personal page is at Fred Tessier, so Fred D. Tessier. Yeah.
Awesome.
That's where you can find me.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you guys. Thanks for tuning in.